Quiet on the set. And welcome everybody to another 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe and presenting your queen, Caitlin Dean. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
So do we just address you as Your Majesty, Eminence? Which one are we going with?
mean, every time I'm at school and someone sees me, they always say Caitlin Dean the Tomato Queen because it like rhymes. But
I think that might be one of the reasons why you won. They were just kind of going through to figure out which one can we get the best saying for. So, well, we're very happy to have you here. You can only guess what we're going to talk about. This is, today's probably not the best day to be sitting there thinking about summer weather. But at the same time, it's going to be here before you know it, and then so is the Tomato Festival. So we're going to go ahead and start off. You've been queen for just about a year now, a little bit under. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite memory about being queen so far? Because you never know what's going to happen in the next couple of months.
Yeah, so that's a really hard one because I've done a lot of community events with this. But definitely my favorite was the Halloween party that Reynoldsburg held. I got to dress up for that, and I really got to interact with the kids. It was so cool having some of the kids come up and be like, "Mommy, that's a princess," and I was like, "Oh." But I really enjoyed that, and seeing all the costumes. That was definitely one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, Halloween tends to be one of my favorites too, but for completely different reasons. Now, there's always a lot of conversation about pageants and things like that, especially in the modern era. So from your point of view, how has becoming queen kind of changed your views, or did they change your views of what pageants are all about?
Yes. So I've always been kind of a headstrong person.
Somewhere your mom is laughing right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And she's the same way, so she can't laugh. But after becoming queen, I got to see a whole different side of people that I've never experienced, and I kind of got to see a lot of different opinions about things, and it made me a lot more open to different opinions within the world and stuff like that, which has been really nice. It's kind of opened my eyes to certain topics.
Okay. Now, this year's Tomato Festival is continuing to grow, so there's going to be a number of different titles. Obviously, the most important one is Queen, but there are other ones. How many titles overall are going to be awarded this year at the Tomato Festival?
So this year we have 13 different titles within 5 different categories.
Okay.
We have our Little Prince and Princess, we have Junior Prince and Princess, the King and Queen, and then this year we have our Senior Royalty. Which, would you like me to explain?
Yeah, go ahead, because I was, you can steal my question. It's okay. No, Senior Royalty is one of my favorite parts, because it's a way to kind of recognize people who've been in the community for a long time. And so go ahead and take it from there.
Typically in the past, there's a certain amount of years you have to live in Reynoldsburg for the Senior Royalty. And you also would have to be a married couple. But this year we have changed it that you don't have to be a married couple, anyone can apply. So we will be awarding 2 senior royalties that do not have to be affiliated with each other.
All right. That may be a benefit in some cases out there for some people. You never know. So when is the application deadline? Let's say that there's somebody who's watching that has a son or daughter in school right now and is just curious about what this is all like. What's the deadline? How do they go about getting involved in this?
Yes. So our deadline is July 10th. If you go to the Tomato Festival website, you can find the link to it from there. And I definitely think that you should apply if you're thinking about it, because it's a great opportunity for the kids to meet others, and also for the high schoolers, you get to interact with other high schoolers that you maybe don't interact with, and it's a really nice opportunity to build friendships and your own personal character.
And there's a lot of parts to it. It's you do a lot of team building, and it's not just getting on a dress and going up and answering 5 or 6 questions. There's a lot more to it, but you tend to build that camaraderie with other people that are in there at the same time. So Now, when are the pageants this year? Because I know everything with the Tomato Festival, it's a moving date because it continues to grow every year. So this year, when is the festival? Do you know if it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
So the pageant will be on Saturday, what's the date?
You just missed it.
August 6th.
There you go.
Yeah, Saturday, August 6th, and then we'll start sometime in the late morning, early afternoon. I don't remember the exact times.
You're the queen. They have people to tell you that. You're fine.
I just show up.
There you go. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, the Tomato Festival in general is the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and so this is going to be something. It drives a lot of people too. I remember last year, before the rain and before the threat of rain. You know, it was a relatively large crowd, and then we moved over to the YMCA, and I know that if weather is again much of an issue, the YMCA is being a great partner with us as usual. So thank you to the YMCA about hosting that type of location. But it's a lot of fun, and we're really thrilled about it. So I wanted to thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're counting down the days until the end of school.
Yes, so excited.
I can imagine. So do you have any other big plans for the summer? Anything you're going to do?
I'm an Irish dancer, and the whole summer will be at camps that I'm either working and helping teach, or I will be dancing at, and then in early July I will be heading to Montreal, Canada for nationals for Irish dance.
There we go.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun. Well, thank you very much for coming today, Your Majesty. We shall bow as you. So thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So we have another guest today. This is actually one of our partners from Club Ohio Soccer. Gregor, come on in, have a seat. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Doing well.
For having us.
Just happy to have you here. So, you know, one of the best things about Reynoldsburg is we have an amazing park system, and one of our largest parks is Civic Park, and they've got a bunch of soccer fields, and you use almost all of them, which is a good thing. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about Club Ohio?
So, a little bit about myself. I'm originally born in Bulgaria, which is in Europe. Everybody kind of get familiar with where Bulgaria is now, since Ukraine is under attack from Russia. But I moved to the United States in 2006. I played overseas. I got into coaching in 2008. I've been mainly working on the in Pickerington side for 11 years. We kind of built a strong community club there. And recently I've been joined forces with James and Tony Labudowski, who is the high school coach at Reynoldsburg high school boys team, to build the east side, and kind of main focus is Reynoldsburg as a kind of center of that of the map. So Club Ohio East is where we're working for. We are under a big umbrella with Club Ohio Soccer Club, which is located in Dublin, Dayton. They started 2011. It's a big program and big opportunity for those kids to get to be trained by top coaches and be pushed to grow as a young soccer players. So.
Okay. So I know kind of those are the goals of it. You know, the soccer's changed a lot from when I was growing up, where, you know, you had everybody out and it looked like a bunch of, 6-year-olds kind of chasing a ball at the same time with no structure. Now, you go out and it's a lot different. So can you talk about any of what you've seen about the excitement of soccer and how it's changed over the last, since you've been in the States?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. So probably back in the days, kids used to play only baseball and American football. And I think you see a lot of, United States is a diverse country, so you have a lot of foreigners that moved in and introduced soccer to the younger generations, younger families. So soccer is growing. Women's national team is been kind of leading the success on the soccer side of things. We're waiting for the men's national team to step it up a notch. We've seen a lot of growth on the soccer side of the players' development. Like you said, they were just kids running and kicking the ball. Now it's like more structure with coaching staffs that know what they're teaching the kids. In the past, probably was mom and dad trying to explain something that probably weren't familiar with. So adding good coaching staff that understand the game of soccer, also teaching the core values of importance of in life, to be successful in life, be competitive, and also be a sportsmanship. So that's very important for sports. I mean, any sports, honestly. But on the soccer side of things, I think working with different diversity on the team it's important kind of carrying on when you get older and trying to compete, finding better jobs per se. One thing with Club Ohio and our coaching staff, some are from different countries. We have a lot of foreigners that moved at some point in the United States, so they know the game of soccer. We also have teachers and high school coaches involved in the program who are very good at teaching the young students not only the game of soccer but also core values in life, because in reality not everybody will be a professional soccer player or will go to play in college, but for our kids we want them to be successful in life. So if they go and try to apply for a job and they fail, we want them to continue to compete and be successful regardless of the outcome, because in life nothing is easy. I mean, anybody can tell you that a lot of people fail 1, 2, and 3, 4 times and they never give up. So with our kids and our culture, we're trying to insist that winning mentality. It's not all about winning the games, but the winning mentality of being competitive and trying to give their 110%. I tell my players and my kids as well, whatever you do in life, give it 110%, regardless what it is. It could be folding clothes, it could be cleaning the house or washing dishes. Gotta give 110%, so it's very important. So
there's a few people in here who have kids that are shaking their head. Yeah, that's exactly what. And so I know for all of their families, you're going to get that speech tonight. I'm just letting you know.
Fold those clothes.
So one of the funny things just about soccer that always kind of when somebody looks like they got hit, but then they become great actors and they kind of fall and tumble and things of that nature, trying to draw that penalty foul. Is that a special class that you guys teach, or is that just a natural ability of some to be able to do that?
I would say you see more on the men's side of things. I would say the girls, it's hard to teach them to dive.
Yeah.
It's part of the game, honestly. If you go and watch, like you said, European soccer or South American soccer, they sell it really well. Now they implemented VAR, which is they review a foul on the cameras and some of the professional games, but they can kind of reverse the call if it was a dive. But I think mainly for the boys side of things is kind of part of getting some calls.
Yeah.
I will not say the girls. Usually girls are strong players. They want to push themselves, and they might get fouled and they're not calling for the foul.
Yeah. Well, I had the opportunity, I used to be a teacher in high school, and I would take kids over to Europe, and we had the opportunity to be in France during the World Cup at one point in time, and it was just, the atmosphere was just electric. For somebody who's not as familiar with soccer, if you're in that kind of environment for a World Cup stage where everybody's watching and every television set, it's almost like it's a Super Bowl every single game, and you have huge crowds all the time. It's so different when you're watching European soccer as opposed to American soccer, and it's great that you're doing this. We love partnering with you. We love that you're taking advantage of our fields out there.
Oh, you guys have been great. Civic Park is. I remember going to Civic Park maybe 6-7 years ago, and now most of the time I've been doing some trainings and trying to promote the Club Ohio East, and it just looks so much different. A lot of kids playing, and we're trying to keep the kids out of trouble. Youth soccer and youth sports is not only about, again, nobody's gonna go play professional soccer, not all of them, but keeping our kids out of trouble. We have different communities here in Reynoldsburg. I live in Reynoldsburg. My son goes to Wagner Road Middle School. So different personalities. We're looking forward to, we have our trials coming up next week actually starting.
Okay.
So we're looking forward for new faces, new members. You can check us out on clubohiosoccer.com. Look for Club Ohio East for registrations. We'll take any ages, and it's never too late to join soccer. Again, there are so many different sports that people can look into it, but we kind of hope to show that the soccer is a little bit different, and we can, incorporate a little bit more besides soccer.
All right. Well, you took my next question away, which is finding out how to get more involved with it. So, again, if you're interested, just hit the rewind button a little bit.
Yes.
And you'll figure out all for the website and everything. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking some time today to come in.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you out
Thank
there.
you. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a jam-packed show, so we do appreciate everybody so far. So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about some other things coming up. Obviously, code enforcement is still out there. I saw some chatter about people cutting grass and things like that. One of the best comments that I saw out there when there was someone who was commenting about somebody whose grass was a little bit longer than others, they said, did you think to ask them if you could cut their grass for them, that type of thing. And actually, I thought that wasn't a bad idea. We have a lot of people in our community that have different schedules, different work habits. Some are seniors, and then the rest of it is scheduling. How do you do that? And then the weather itself is rainy. So that was a great way to kind of get a positive idea out there. But not every time does that happen, and we get that. So we do actually go out and write referrals for it. Usually, you get 7 days to cut your grass. So hopefully people can go out and do that. Again, we are kind when it comes to rain. If it's raining for 5 days and you still haven't been able to get it dried out, then obviously we understand that. But keep an eye out for that. As well as obviously the sidewalks, making sure that you're keeping kind of the trees and shrubs out of the sidewalk way, so when people are walking or pushing the stroller with their kids, they can go through without having to get onto the streets and stuff like that. So we have any questions so far? I know that we had a couple run out. I know that I didn't want to take Her Majesty's time. She has, I'm sure, a banquet to go to at some point today. We do have some updates on Main Street. Obviously, Main Street westbound, those lanes are open and traffic's been a lot easier. For those of you looking on the other side of the street, you're seeing everything kind of getting dug up so you can see what eventually will be there, which is the sidewalks, very similar to what you see on the north side of the street in front of Memorial Plaza. Lancaster is shut down. It's going to be shut down for a couple of days until they get everything across. And then, so kind of keep that in mind in your travels all the way through. So they're going to work hard and try and get that done as fast as they can. All your restaurants are still open. Vix is still open. You can still go in through there. There's alternate routes to get you there. So keep that in mind. But we are working hard for that. We also wanted to recognize that this is National Police Week here in Ohio. For those of you that came out on Saturday and picked up their blue light bulb, we really appreciate that. Make sure those are on your front porch for the week. It's always good to recognize, our officers, specifically right here in Reynoldsburg, when they're driving around on patrol, things like that. I'm sure I hope they appreciate, that we have some of these lights out there. I know that they do. A few officers have mentioned it already. So thanks to them. We also want to remind you that the Women's Defense class is going to be here before you know it. This is our next class for ages 12 and up. Starts September 6th and 7th, 12th and 14th from 6 to 8:30. Great opportunity, a little bit of in-class work and a little bit of work where you get to throw some people around. So that's always a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that out on the webpage. And this Saturday, we have a big thing. I did see this. I tried to promote it a little bit yesterday. CODA, as part of Link Us and Morpsey and all of these Central Ohio communities, is trying to establish what they call bus rapid transit. The idea about rapid transit is that if you're standing basically in the center of downtown Columbus, you can take a bus and get to, in this case, the furthest part of Reynoldsburg in about 28 to 32 minutes, depending on a couple of factors. But basically, the idea is you're only going to have a couple of stops in each community: Reynoldsburg, Whitehall, Bexley, and then certain parts of Columbus. And the idea is to try and make sure that you allow opportunities for access for transportation for those that are looking for jobs. So we're still identifying where all the stops are going to be. We know one's going to be at Bryson, Maine. We know one's going to be around City Hall somewhere, and then another one at our furthest boundaries out east. But this Saturday, you're going to learn a lot more about it if you have the time to go to the Reynoldsburg Library, and it's between 2 and 4:30 p.m. So there's a lot of things going on this weekend, but you can get in there for that and learn a little bit more about what bus rapid transit means for Reynoldsburg, get some questions answered. And what really will be cool is you'll have the opportunity to help design what the bus stops will look like. Each of the bus stops is going to be, there's going to be a shell, there's going to be something that they have to do for, ease of access and things like that. But all the decorative stuff, all the things that kind of make Reynoldsburg, you're going to have the opportunity to kind of put in there. Now, they have not decided how all this is going to work. So you're going to see some pictures, and this is, mock-ups and designs. Right now, they are working to get it to what they call the 15% design phase. So they are a long way from actually having anything more permanent, but they're just trying to get everything taken care of now. It could be a rate of traffic example. It could be dedicated bus lanes. But one person did ask specifically about when you get to the Old Town area. So basically from Davidson to Wagner, that area, no matter what, is going to be the rate of traffic. There's not going to be a dedicated bus lane for that going through Old Town. We're putting a lot of effort and work into our Old Town area to make it exactly what the community is looking for, something pedestrian friendly, boutique shopping, restaurants, things like that. So we're not going to go ahead and tear this up in 2 years and put something else in. So that's not what's going to happen in that Old Town area. Very similar to kind of what Bexley's doing. If you've been to Bexley, you know that they have a beautiful median area. So that's not going to be, a dedicated lane, but other parts of it may. But for the best information, head on out there this Saturday at the Reynoldsburg Library from 2 to 4:30 and get some information. And of course, stay tuned here on the 12 o'clock show to get all that information. We also have a little bit of development news. Tonight or tomorrow night, it's going to be up at our BZBA, our Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. We will have a Moo Moo Car Wash going in right next to the Sheets, which is on Broad Street. So that way you can go ahead and grab a bite to eat, get some gas, and then go ahead and wash your car all at the same time. So it's a little bit of one-stop shopping. So it's a good opportunity to kind of take an interest in that, and that'll be at tomorrow night's meeting. We have some great stuff. You've seen this. It's the Tomei Tour. Get it? Tomei Tour. Yep, I know. This is a Tomei Tour guide. So basically, you're going to start picking these up at some of our events. And basically, you're entered almost into an opportunity for a contest. You're going to be able to say that you've been to a farmer's market, maybe you've gone to a concert on the lawn, or a movie night, or one of my favorite ones, Juneteenth. So you'll have the opportunity to get those things stamped. And the more you get, then you can get some dollars off some of our great programming here through Parks and Recs. There's some T-shirts involved, and we all know everybody loves T-shirts. So that's an opportunity to do that. And speaking of the farmers market, we do have the return of the farmers market. Jennifer, do you want to tell everybody when the farmers market's coming back?
It's the second Thursday in June, and it's from 4 to 7 here at JFK Park.
So we're looking forward to all some great vendors coming in. Obviously, keep an eye out for those, but you'll probably start seeing those signs pop up around town. I saw them a couple of places today. They're still taking registrants for the E-League, for the electronic games through Parks and Rec. It's only $10 for the whole season, but I think we're getting down to the very few spots open. There are weekly tournaments with that, so hopefully you can go ahead and take advantage of that if you are a gamer in that regard. We also have some instructional tennis class opportunities still open from our Parks and Rec department, so check that out. And we do have some Home Alone classes, not Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin Home Alone, where you're like designing traps for people that are breaking in. That's a completely different Home Alone. That one might be something we should look into, though. This Home Alone is basically for kids between 10 to 13 that might be staying at home for the first time over the summertime, that just to kind of, deal with how to deal with somebody knocking at the door, maybe how to make a quick meal, things of those nature. So if you're interested in that, again, reach out to the Parks and Rec department. We also have, and this is a long one, so listen to it, the Green Thumb Container Contest. It's designs. You get to enjoy planting flowers and feeling the dirt under your fingernails. I know I'm all about that. Us too. Be the envy of your neighbors with a container of beautiful flowers right at your doorstep. Join our horticulturalist, Ryan Lauber, for his hands-on and class to create a beautiful container. It's going to teach you the basics of the designing a container, how to fill it, and make sure, in my case, that you don't spill it all the time. All the materials, including the plants, potting soil, and the container, are provided, so check that out. It's a great opportunity. And if you really want to get involved and plant some stuff, come on out here to City Hall on Saturday morning from 9 until we plant a whole bunch of plants and beautiful flowers all the way throughout our City Hall area. You don't have to register ahead of time. Just come on in. We have all the tools. We have gloves. And it's very, very easy. The plants are actually all going to be laid out, so all you have to do literally is lift, dig, put it in, and then put the dirt around it, and then move on to the next one. And if you screw up too bad, Parks and Rec will come back in the next couple of days and clear it all out and just make sure it's all pretty and lined up. So it's almost foolproof, and trust me, they tell me that with reason. We also have some litter cleanups going on this weekend, so if you or an organization would like to participate in cleaning up some litter, either through our Adopt a Road program or you just want to go to one of our parks, reach out to us here at the city, and we can arrange getting you some litter pickers, and some garbage bags and gloves and things like that. We're happy to do that for you, so you can go ahead and get some cleaning done. The Community Association is still accepting nominations for the Grand Marshal. So if you have anybody that you would like to nominate for Grand Marshal, you're more than welcome to do that. The due date is the 27th, so it's coming up pretty quick. They're also accepting opportunities for people to participate in the parade this year. So the 4th of July is going to be back and better than ever, thanks to the Community Association. So go ahead and make sure you register for that, whether you're a business, whether you're a community group, anything like that. Please feel free and volunteer. And then on Saturday, again, we have another event, the Multicultural Festival from 1 to 4 o'clock. There's going to be a lot of dancing, a lot of singing. You've got some music, and it's a great way to represent everything that is Reynoldsburg. So our complete diversity, which the coach mentioned a little bit earlier, is a great way to be showcased this Saturday from 1 to 4. So there's a lot of things out there. It's sponsored by the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce, the Reynoldsburg Visitors Bureau, the Reynoldsburg City Schools, and Reynoldsburg City. With that, next week, we will have our next 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. It's going to be the last one for a while because we're getting ready to switch over to the new website. So there may be some some working to figure out to make sure that everything works before we go back live for everything. But the next one is actually going to be a really good show. For those of you that don't know, we've had an intern here in Reynoldsburg, Drew Longaberger, who has done a lot of different things, including writing legislation, listening to a lot of interesting stories about community members' thoughts and things like that. It's been a real help to it. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about his experiences here as a senior at the STEM Academy, by being an intern here in the city before he goes off to a higher university in the fall. So we're looking forward to having him on there. He's an avid sports fan, so send those questions ahead of time. It's going to be really good. Loves to talk about that. With that, any questions, comments, anything out there?
Not today.
All right, stay dry, everybody. Stay safe, stay respectful. I know it's not always easy, but trust me, you live life a lot happier that way. And please make sure you put your shopping carts away, which I did see a very lengthy feed on social media about putting shopping carts away. Make sure you take care of those. We do appreciate it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.